We're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Roto Radio, episode 633, coming to you on Monday, November 17th. We're going to look back at USC's big win over the Iowa Hawkeyes, a comeback win in the rain at the Coliseum. All of that coming up more on this episode. As always, you can follow us on social media at Reign of Troy. Our email address is reignoftroy@fansided.com. And our phone number is 818-643-7227, Second Woodsboro Show. I'm your host, Michael Castillo, journalist, my co-host here in the Reign of Troy studio in Los Angeles, powered by Fansided. Alicia Deratola.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. We are back for the Fallout episode. If you did not join us for the CarCast was a little bit late on Saturday, but we are back. Everything is back to normal schedule here on out, baby. Fallout episodes, Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, or 4:11 Pacific like it was today. And then preview episodes, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific. CarCast episodes, about 15, 20 minutes after the game. And then a watch along also during the game as well. That's what we got cooking the rest of the season. The 2 regular season games left of the season, and then who knows? Who knows from there? Yeah. Things could get a little wild later on, but I don't think we have to think about that right now. No.
We can save that for future podcast analysis.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Grant in the chat said I'm pumped. My 10-2 prediction has a slim chance. There you go. That's all you want. You want your ceiling hopes to still be alive deep into November, right?
That's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my prediction has already been surpassed, so I'm pretty chill.
Yeah. SC has to lose out to get my prediction.
Well, that's not a fun thing to consider.
No, but what it means is they've already reached the number of wins.
Yeah.
There you go.
I still don't want to have to think about the losing out question.
Sure. Ron Murdy says, where is the season gone? That's a great question. I feel like college football, you look forward forever, and then all of a sudden it comes and you're like, oh, it also feels like the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl was yesterday, even though it was a really long off season. And then the next thing you know, it's week 1, it's week 2, and then it's week 15.
It's wild to me that it's already the middle of November. Like it's
yes.
Thanksgiving is here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like time, the older I get, the more contracted time feels. Like,
well, especially like post-COVID,
I just think about, like, as a kid, how long a school year felt. And now it's like, yeah, gone. Just, yep.
I will share a story. When I was a kid, 3rd grade, one of my really good friends in elementary school, we hung out on a Sunday, and we wanted to do a sleepover, but our parents were like, it's a school night. What the hell are you talking about? How about Friday night? You can come over on Friday night. Like, okay. So that week, I was looking forward to the sleepover all week, right? That week went by so fast. And in my head, ever since I wanted that week to go by fast, every week since is zoomed on by. Every week before that went by really slow. Every week since is zoomed on by.
Well, I mean,
it's weird how perception works.
So then I can blame you for the way that time is
clearly. All right, lots of stuff to get into before we truly talk about SC and Iowa, open up the mailbag and so much more. Let's start with the news. All right, we got a game time for SC and Oregon. The Trojans and the Ducks, locking horns, Autzen Stadium, Lane County. Lane County? I think it's Lane County in Eugene.
Is it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
12:30 p.m. Pacific on CBS. I'm pumped about this. I love a CBS game. Feels like everyone in the world is watching a CBS game. It's like it's the closest thing at this point I think that we have to like Monday Night Football from back in the day is the CBS 12:30 kickoff. I love it. Nestler, Gary Danielson. I know people don't like Gary Danielson. I love Gary Danielson. I dig it.
I just think it's funny the way that people don't like
anybody.
Specific announcers because like nobody likes anybody. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't necessarily have strong opinions about Nestler and Danielson, but I'm gonna admit, for a big game like this,
Here we go.
I don't like a 12:30 kick. It doesn't feel as majestic. It might be best off for USC being daytime and then not having to worry about like nighttime in Eugene. So in that sense, like I don't think USC is complaining. Just as personally,
sure.
I feel like you said, like it's the closest thing to Monday Night Football or whatever. Like for me, the big game in college football is a 5:00 game. And anything that isn't a 5:00 game is not a big game to me. So,
I hear you, but I think there's a difference between a noon kick on the Pac-12 network and 12:30 on CBS. Like, I think there's a difference there.
No question. I agree with you there that like the 12:30 game on CBS for other teams feels like the big game.
Yes.
But not for USC. Like
sure.
if like I would expect like Alabama Georgia to be 12:30 CBS. I would expect the big SEC game to be 12:30 CBS.
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is it. Game day going to Austin, which will be great. I love that game day is going to be at an SC game. Am I going to watch a game day? No, I will just watch clips when I wake up at like at 11:15 in the morning on Saturday. But it'll be cool. It's good to know that game day.
I just hate
will be there.
Yeah, I like that game day is going to be there. I just hate that game day is going to be there and not like that this couldn't be USC's game day in Los Angeles. Like that would have been really epic considering how long it's been since USC has hosted game day.
Right.
This would have been perfect, but we can't we don't get everything that we want. So
no. By the way, I don't think SC's ever won a game day game against Oregon. Now that I think about it. So it's only happened twice, I think. 2009 and 2010. I think those are the only ones. So
well, there's one of those was raining. Was that 2009?
2009 was the Masoli game. That was the ass kicking. That was the first Pete Carroll ass kicking
so then it would
of
have
his
been
tenure.
2010.
2010 was the game. SC loses by 20. Jeff Mayle has like long touchdowns in the second half. SC recovers a fumble and like takes the lead early in the third quarter. The Coliseum is like a lit. It feels buzzy and loud in there, and then Anyways, 12:30 on CBS. Updated polls. AP poll has the Trojans at number 16. Coaches 16th. FEI. Are these updated? The FEI one?
Yes, those are. Yes, those are all updated, and the Sagarin one is updated as well. But I had to Sagarin's website was being weird, so I had to sort of go through.
I mean, it looks like it was.
Media.
It has not received the update of Web 2.0. Jeff Sagarin's website still looks like it's 1993.
I mean,
with all the love in the world.
This is true. This is true.
It's on MS-DOS.
But normally it works functionally on MS-DOS. Sure. Where today I was just getting an error message every time I was trying to load it. So
the Trojans are 15th in Sagarin, 13th in FEI, 13th in SP. Plus the Trojans solidly in the playoff discussions. Let's talk about bowl projections. Every bowl projection I have seen has USC in one place and one place only. And I will go as far to say that I think SC's postseason situations are extremely clear, and I don't know that they've ever been this clear. If SC goes to a bowl game, it's going to be the Alamo Bowl. And if SC goes to the playoff, they go to the playoff. But it's the playoff or the Alamo Bowl at this point. I don't see any other option.
I'm gonna be honest. I have not seen bowl projections. So yeah, I hadn't even been thinking about the Alamo Bowl, but that makes sense.
The ones I saw from ESPN had SC in the Alamo against BYU or Houston. Sure, I guess those make sense against a Big 12 team. But the reason I said the Alamo Bowl is because SC's never been. SC most likely, if we just assume that SC's 9-3, given that they're an underdog this week and favored next week, they go 9-3. Of all the Pac-12 former teams, whoever doesn't get in the playoff between SC and Oregon goes to the Alamo Bowl simply by default at this point, right?
I pretty much, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, let's get into a lot of stuff, but before we do that, we got to start with good old Underdog, because I like making picks. I like playing daily fantasy, and you can do that here as we go into the stretch run. Making picks at Underdog, so easy. It's my favorite daily fantasy app. Can play with as little as $1 and win up to 5,000 times my money. It's all about using your ball knowledge to pick whether a player will go higher or lower than their stat projection. Mix and match different players on different teams, even different sports. This week, it's Monday Night Football, and I am taking Ashton Genty to go lower than 65.5 rushing yards, but CeeDee Lamb to go higher than 87.5 receiving yards. You can join me. Make your picks over at Underdog. Download the app today. Sign up with the promo code Reign of Troy to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Reign of Troy. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks. Win money. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. The terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPEline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. Alicia, let's discuss USC and Iowa. It's been a couple days. Take it away. Where's your head at?
My head is at where I was. I re-listened to the CarCast this morning, actually, while I was at Costco. And I wanted to make one thing slightly more clear in a way that I don't think we did enough on Saturday, which is to say that we had woken up at 4 a.m. Pacific and spent 16 hours traveling via motor coach, extended airport chair sitting, and 3 different flights to then
3 different flights, 3 different airports.
Yes, to then get home and rush home and then talk about the game that we had watched over airplane Wi-Fi. So I just wanted to preface a little bit that if I sounded dour, it honestly, like, my energy levels during that episode were very much about the 16 hours of travel and not a lack of enthusiasm for USC's win over Iowa. So, we can just sort of start there. But I also stand by everything that I said in that episode, which is to say that this was the best win of the Lincoln Riley era at USC. It was a culture win. It was a real step in the right direction where USC proved in all 3 facets of the game that they could respond to adversity, that they could close things out, that they could find a way to win against a quality opponent. All of those things are true. All of those things are absolutely to be celebrated. It is worth celebrating that USC is 8-2 at this stage in the season. It's been a while since we've been able to enjoy, 8-2, without knowing that it was because of a Heisman level, best quarterback you've ever seen, kind of player that was on the team. So I think that this was a just a straight up really good quality win. I also stand by, we shouldn't be surprised by 8-2. We shouldn't act like 9-3 is an achievement, except for if you want to frame it through it is an improvement on last year, which it absolutely is. But this was my main thought coming while listening to us argue on the CarCast, which is to say, and this comes back to some of the arguments we've had for a long time on this show, the question of 6-6, like this is year 4 to me. And a lot of people, whenever I say it's year 4, a lot of people respond, well, it's really year 2. To which I say, no, it is year 4. And while the reality of last season is certainly one that existed, I don't think I am willing to judge USC based on a 6-6 standard of, well, good job, you got better, because you shouldn't have been 6-6 in the first place. In year 3, you shouldn't have been incapable of knowing how to win football games. And playing catch up in year 4 is positive step in the right direction, but still where you should have been in the first place. So again, I'm sort of not that I'm like scoffing at USC's achievement or anything like that. Not that I'm not enjoying myself quite immensely over the last few weeks, for sure. There was a discussion on Discord about whether or not this team is fun to watch. And I will certainly say that the defense is not fun to watch a lot of the time. But I think the team as a whole is very fun to watch. And there's a lot of guys that it's very easy to root for. A lot of guys who make the spectacular plays that make us cheer and get excited and all of that kind of stuff. Like, I do think this team is fun to watch. But I think that, like, watching a game like Iowa, like what USC did to Iowa, still feels to me like you and I, for instance, and me and a lot of other people are just sort of like just watching it from a different kind of perspective. As Iliam says in the chat, like, I think we can be happy that they are better and realize that beating a mid-Iowa team at home isn't among USC's greatest all-time accomplishments. Like, yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Like, this was a really good win for USC. It was a really good win for USC. I'm just not going to go like beyond that in that sense. The other thought I had, not to just keep rambling again like the car has, last thought. I was thinking about the question that you raised, not the question, the scenario that you raised, that going into the Oregon game could feel a lot like 2011. Or, 2016 Washington, or 2007 ASU. Like, all of these.
There wasn't a lot of optimism going into any of those games.
No. But what I will say is the big difference for me between those games and this one is, like, USC beat Iowa, got a really good win, and this win did not drive the level of confidence for me in USC going forward the way that a loss to Stanford did in 2011, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
that's really where I'm at. Is great win. I'm really happy that USC is I think that USC will end up being 9-3. I'm happy that USC will end up being 9-3, as opposed to my prediction of 7-5, or even the very eye-rolly, annoyingly, not bad, not good, 8-4 scenario. But it's still sort of like I'm still not ready to be fully bought in on this team or this coach. And they have a really, really big opportunity coming up to get me bought in. Here's
a question. You said that the loss to the loss to Stanford in 2011 gave you more buy-in than the win to Iowa. Is that correct, what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there a scenario, and we can talk about this more on Wednesday or whatever, is there a scenario where there is a loss to Oregon that gets you more bought in?
Yes. At least I would hope so. I can't predict. But
like some sort of like valiant.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
I don't know what that looks like, but you know what I mean.
On Twitter, USC Psycho. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. USC Psycho said, where is it? I have a lot of... Okay. He said, love him or hate him, we're probably at a point where a defensible case can be made for any take you want to have about Lincoln Riley this season. The game on Saturday will tell us who is actually right. And the... somebody responded to that saying the program is heading in the right direction this year. This one game, as they're heading in as the clear underdog will not define him. And I responded to that. I'm not saying that USC has to beat Oregon to win me over, but putting up a fight in Autzen would go a long way. So I can't say that in the moment I will be capable of feeling positive thoughts if USC comes out a loser on Saturday, right, because I hate losing so much. But I do think there's a universe where USC goes to Autzen, plays Oregon tough, doesn't get the pants beat off of them defensively. The defense shows up. The offense goes up against a really good defense in tough conditions and keeps it close, and USC loses.
You lose a 27-24 in overtime to cut the deal.
Yes. Yeah, exactly that. A game where just like one or two bounces of the ball go your way and it changes the outcome, or, a bad call changes the outcome, those kinds of things. My worry, not to look too far ahead to Oregon because we have a whole Oregon preview to come, but the reality is that my feelings about Iowa and this win are very much couched in my feelings about what comes next. My worry is that we will turn up on Saturday, turn on the TV, have the stream going, and that USC's defense will get pantsed. And that is, to me, the sort of outcome that is bubbling under the surface and making me nervous.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue to go into some of the stats that I pulled up, going into a little bit deeper about what I talked about in the CarCast about SC being better in the second half and how the numbers sort of bear that out. Since the Illinois game, and I say since the Illinois game for like three reasons. One, that was SC's first bye week after the Illinois game. Number two, that was the game in which the defense was as bad as they've ever been under Danton Lynn, and you could even say they were as bad as it was worse than a Grinch defense, but potentially you could say in that Illinois game. And then the other reason is for these stats, I like to use Stat Broadcast, and for some reason the lovely people at Illinois overwrote the Illinois SC Stat Broadcast page, so the stats are no longer there, which is very frustrating for me. Anyways, but that's an inside baseball nerd take. Okay, so since the Illinois game, SC has outscored teams 76-32 in the second half. But mind you, 20 of those 32 points came at Notre Dame, and 7 of those 20 points were due to special teams because of a kickoff return. And so if you exclude the Notre Dame game, SC is outscoring teams 65-12. In the second half in the last 4 victories. That's Michigan, Nebraska, Northwestern, and Iowa. 3 touchdowns SC has allowed in the second half on defense since the Illinois game. It was the busted coverage that Michigan had in the third quarter. That was the 2 touchdowns that Notre Dame scored. And that's it. They have not allowed a touchdown in the second half against Nebraska, Northwestern, or Iowa. They've outscored teams in those games 15-3, 17-3, and 16-0. We talked about it after Nebraska, like how much of this was the second half adjustments and how much of this was Dylan Raiola getting out and Nebraska's spirit breaking. I think there's absolutely part of that, but like given that SC has won 3 straight games in a very similar way, I think we can start putting credence into SC is just better in the second half. And when you go back to since the Illinois game, USC's defense in the second half is allowing 2 fewer yards per play in the second half versus the first half. In the second half, they're allowing 4.46 yards per play. In the first half, it's 6.59. Now, for context, you're like, I don't know what 4.46 means. I don't know what 6.59 means. Here you go. If SC averaged 4.46 yards per play for the entire season, which again, not necessarily a realistic scenario, but for context here, that would have SC ranking 10th nationally in defense. 10th. It's a top 10 USC defense in the second half, the last 5 games. In the first half, the 6.59 yards per play, if SC did that the entire season, 130th. So that is the true
which is kind
juxtaposition of the first and the second half,
which kind of justifies the feeling that I'm not. There's a big question and there's a big always conversations after these games about oh you guys gave up or you weren't supporting, and it's no, it's not about not supporting in the first half. It's just objectively watching bad football and calling it out. I think that, if you watch USC in the first half and feel like it's the worst defense you've ever seen, these numbers back that up. It's one of the worst defenses in the country in the first half. And then all of a sudden it's one of the best defenses in the country in the second half.
Yes.
And sort of putting those things together and sort of trying to make sense of them is a very difficult thing for me. This is my identity crisis going on.
Yeah, and it is crazy. So 2 fewer yards per play they allow, and then on offense they are gaining a half yard more in the second half than the first half. Again, this is down to the last 5 plays since the Illinois game. And then I came up with a set of numbers here. The net gain and net yards per play from first half to second half. I asked you, does that make any sense to you? And you said yes.
Yes, it's the difference.
I think it needs explanations, because if you told me that, I'd be like, what?
It's the difference, and in this case, improvement.
Yes.
Between one set of numbers and the second set of numbers.
So
the first set of numbers is the first half numbers, and the second set of numbers is the second half numbers, and the result of finding the difference between those is it's the difference of the difference. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
How much USC improved from first half to second half.
Yes.
That's what these numbers are.
Yes. So against Michigan, SC was outgaining Michigan on a per play basis. So this is USC's yards per play and Michigan's yards per play, the difference in those. 1.52. In the second half, it was 1.83. So the difference gained was 0.31 yards per play. Relatively that doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. Against Notre Dame, SC was losing the yards per play, the net yards per play in the first half, negative 3.29. Notre Dame was gaining 3 1/3 yards more per play than SC was. In the second half, SC was gaining 1.13 yards per play against Notre Dame. That's plus 4.5 yards per play that they gained in difference there. Against Nebraska, it was a net gain of 2.67 yards per play. Against Northwestern, plus 3.08 yards per play. And against Iowa, plus 2.55 yards per play. So the offense is doing better in the second half. The defense is doing significantly better in the second half. In 3 of those 5 games, they have, on a yards per play basis, been in the negative in the first half, and they've outgained every single one of them on a per play basis in the second half. So and I know that including the Notre Dame game, I know there's been some discourse about we got comments in the last CarCast from like a Notre Dame fan saying like, that game wasn't even close. What are you talking about? And you look at the SP Plus numbers. There was a 99% win probability, 99% post-game win probability for Notre Dame in that game. And that's because of the turnovers, in part because...
I was going to say, it was close until...
It was close,
Makai Levin.
It was close until it wasn't.
That stupid play call.
Yes, so like I think that like that's a game that like there's weird context to the game, right? But yeah, to go into it, like SC is just so much better in the second half, and I think what does this mean? I think that it should give you confidence in the Trojans' ability to grow within a game, and I think it should give maybe a little pause to whatever happens in the first quarter. That whatever happens in the first quarter not necessarily is going to happen all throughout all four quarters. That's not to say that like you should just accept poor play in the first half. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that like this team is answering the bell in the second half. And even against Illinois, they answered the bell in the second half because they erased a 14-point deficit in the second half. So like this is a team that just has a lot of fight, a lot of spunk. And are they pretty every single game? No. But they are getting the job done. And I think that like that's all you can ask for at this point, coming off of 2 seasons in which they've lost the hell out of football games.
Yeah, I mean, those are all facts.
Yeah.
And I think that I think you're right to point out that, you know, the first quarter or like the way that the game starts doesn't mean that the game is going to continue that way.
Yes.
The concern obviously being is that like if you, it's one thing to start off slow.
Yeah.
That happens. What USC has been doing this season has been starting off catastrophically slow to a point. Yeah. And I think that that's like I could totally get behind the second half team thing. Trust me, I came up during the Pete Carroll era, and that was what Pete Carroll teams tended to be. They tended to start slow and then come out in the halftime and roll. But there still needs to be a degree of limitation in that first slow sort of start that still gives you a chance to turn around and be that second half team and not dig yourself into too big of a hole. And I think that USC has been flirting with the digging themselves in too big of a hole.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. SC's been in way too much of a hole. I guess this is all to say, is SC's ability to come back in the second half sustainable? I don't know that it's sustainable as much as the thought is that they will get better throughout the game. I think is sustainable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's just who they are at this point. I don't think burying yourself and relying on comebacks is the safest, most sustainable thing in the world. But, like, it's good to have that in your bag when you need it, right? And, like, they have that in their bag when they need it.
Well, and it's the sign of a good team. So yeah. I guess, like, one of the things that I will give this team a lot of credit for, and this coaching staff a lot of credit for, is being a second half team is a sign of really good things. Number one, it's a sign that your coaching staff understands the kinds of adjustments that need to be made. Number two, that you have instilled a mentality in your team that they don't give up, that they're not willing to give up, and that they will keep fighting even that they have short memories, and that they will keep fighting even if they are in a hole. And number two, and this is something I don't think we've talked about, and I don't think enough people have talked about, USC in terms of like conditioning has been able to stick it out in games and finish games and sort of finish games stronger than their opponents. And a lot of that has to do also, you have to give credit to strength and conditioning, to physically being up for still fighting in the fourth quarter, winning your battles in the fourth quarter and the like. So those are all really, really good signs. Those are the things that I personally need to cling to as I continue to look at things from a macro perspective, where every time I'm watching this team, I am asking myself, well, how far away is USC from truly competing?
Yeah.
And those are, if we're talking like pro and con columns, I think those particular things are extremely important if it does turn out that this staff is capable of getting USC into that truly contending mode. Like, it'll be because of, like, those will be the things that told us that that was going to be the case.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with that. And Grant in the chat says, I think being able to come back is a cultural trait. Whether they are successful every time is a different question. Yes, I think that's exactly it. The other thing is, like, it's one thing to come back from 14 points. It's another thing to come back from 27 points. I mean, Texas A&M just did it. But, like, that's significantly harder, right? It's also one thing to come back against a team like Iowa, who does not have a juggernaut offense. And it's another thing to come back against Oregon on the road. And I think that SC has shown that they can come back on the road, given that you saw them fight back and take the lead late against Illinois. You saw them in a bowl game in the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl come back in a neutral site game, right? You saw them come back against Nebraska. I think those things have helped. And you saw them come back against Notre Dame and take the lead in the second half. The issue hasn't been SC not coming back on the road. It's been finishing games. And SC has finished some games this year on the road, but they did not finish two of them completely in Illinois and Notre Dame. So they still have a lot of ways to go there. And this will be a big proving week for that to see if they have grown from there and taken a step forward. But again, we'll talk more about that on Wednesday as we talk about USC and Oregon. Any other thoughts before we get into other segments?
I would like to call attention to some of the PFF grades.
Sure.
Mostly because I kind of just like it when I look at PFF and, like, they match my eye test. It's funny that Jaden Mayava and Makai Lemon were the top performers on offense with 88.4 and 85.0. The next highest performer was Killian O'Connor at 69.4. USC's offensive line didn't score particularly great, but I think that they did well enough, and it just goes to show that when you have a quarterback and the wide receiver duo that USC has, a lot of things can work out. It just in general. Defensively, I had said during the CarCast that I thought that this was one of Anthony Lucas's best games in a long while. Well, PFF backs that up. He was USC's top-rated defender if you take out Kamari Ramsey, who only played 8 snaps, and Jakeem Stewart, who only played 14 snaps. But those were great 14 snaps from Jakeem. Anthony Lucas scored 74.1, Cam Crawford 71.9, Kennedy Urlacher 69.6, USC's third best of the guys who saw majority snaps. So really, really big game for him to come in and prove his worth. And I don't think we know any information yet about the status of Kamari Ramsey or Bishop Fitzgerald or really anybody who went out injured in this game. But it would seem to me like USC has a good reason to start leaning a little bit more on somebody like Kennedy Urlacher, considering his performance in this game.
Yeah, I think that you'd like to see guys pop up towards the end of seasons when you need them. Austin Jones is a guy I think of for the Trojans a couple years ago in 2022, sorry.
Yeah.
Where Travis Dye gets hurt. He goes out for the season. Everyone is gut-wrenched over it. And Austin Jones is like, hey, I transferred in too. I can be that guy. And if Kennedy Urlacher is your Austin Jones from 2022, that's huge. If he can be the guy to sort of, step in, I think that will be super valuable. Either way, you obviously want Kamari Ramsey and Bishop Fitzgerald, two of your, 3 best players on defense. Gentry, Ramsey, Fitzgerald, those are your dudes. Those are the dudes that you have this defense built around. You want them out there. I think it's obviously gives you a lot of confidence knowing that there's other dudes to throw in there if you need them. But you want your dudes going up against Oregon. Oregon's had some injury stuff. on offense, particularly at the skill positions, but they've gotten some of those guys back, so we're going to see more going into Eugene about how injuries will play there. I don't expect Lincoln Riley at all to talk about injuries this week.
Not even a peep.
No. And Wayman Jordan is someone who I think could be back. Here's my prediction.
Can I tell you my new conspiracy theory?
Go for it.
And this might be me protecting my heart because I love
Sure.
Wayman Jordan and I want to see him play again.
Sure.
I think my conspiracy brain thinks there is no chance that Wayman Jordan plays against Oregon. There is no chance he's ready to go, but he's on the injury list because he's well enough to practice, and he's there as like a Oregon has to think about Wayman Jordan potentially being there, but like in actuality,
they have to prep for those slip backs,
slip backs and all that kind of stuff. I think it's all gamesmanship, and I don't think we're going to see Wayman Jordan. But this is my conspiracy brain, so let's
I could see that being a thing, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I will say this though, I give it 100% that Wayman Jordan will be suited at least for warm-ups on Saturday.
Yeah.
He will be suited for warm-ups.
Well, I wonder if in future they will have guys suit up to avoid the Brian Jackson of it all. Sure. Especially at running back. That's something we haven't talked about, by the way. James Johnson?
Yeah, he was in there a bunch.
Who came in and switched from defense to offense to cover for USC at running back. Didn't see a lot of time in there, but also, they threw him in there. He was in there. Good on him to make that change and do that for USC where they needed him.
Can we call him Jimmy?
No, I will not be calling him Jimmy Johnson. No.
He's a successful coach.
Yeah, but also he's not who I want to think about when I think about like a football player, like an actual good football player.
That's fair. All right, before we get to the mailbag, we have to go to everyone's favorite segment, the Roto meter. Elisa, when last we spoke, the Roto meter was at a cool 7.28 following SC's win over the Northwestern Wildcats at the Coliseum. SC beats Iowa. We put in our Google form for the Roto meter for the Iowa game. The results are in. I will read some comments, but I will hold back on the Roto meter score. So I'll just read some comments Rotbots have sent in. Second half adjustments, coaches and players are finding a way to win! ! Slow starts won't cut it on the road. Rama Murdy says, we have won 3 in a row with slow starts on defense, feeling good about finishing 10-2. Tim in LA says, if I'm ignoring the first quarter, it's an 8.5. But the miserable first quarter brings it down to a 7. Oop, I just gave that one away. USC showed resilience and made good adjustments. We were dependent on some lucky things breaking USC's way, but we also have to give them credit for a second half shutout. Somebody said, I am so cold. That person went to the game. Jessica pops in here and says, I answered about the second half and not the first half, ... Definitely nice to see that we have a comeback win like this against a solid Iowa team and in the rain! ! Somebody says, worry about key player injuries like Ramsey and Page, but if we beat Oregon, I will raise the Roto meter to a 10. I
agree. If USC beats Oregon, I'm telling you now, my Roto meter will be at a 10.
Like full mast?
Full beans at 10. I think that it would be arguably the biggest win that USC has had since beating Washington in 2016.
Yeah.
Setting aside beating Stanford for the Pac-12 title as just like a totally different deal.
Sure.
But I would certainly go full beans there. Also, just to cut in real fast, the person who said that they're cold. You know what's fun though is, and this is the dangerous thing about going to sporting events or doing things in the rain. going to a game in the rain and losing, the most miserable experience on the planet. Going to a game in the rain and winning is like the coolest experience in the planet. Like it's like all of that cold just sort of like transitions into adrenaline and like this like positive energy and stuff like that. Like I love being in the rain, but then having something like fantastic happen.
Yeah, I think the rain is good for TV in a lot of chances, in a lot of instances. And that just adds to drama when you're there and things panic. Like as much as the rain is sloppy, Adori's hurdling of the Notre Dame dudes kind of cooler than it was in the rain. You know what I mean? Like there's an aura to it, if you will. But let's get to the old Roto meter, Alicia. The Rotbots have chimed in. I will swing it left and right, and it will go. I can't fine tune this thing. What if I zoom in? Can I do it better? Hold on. Let's see. This is great television. No, I can't. Okay, it's at 7.43. Just assume that that's 7.43. That's not where the line is, but assume that is. It's at 7.43. It went up 0.15. Not as much as I thought it would go up, to be honest.
No, but I think 7.5 is where is a correct place to be for the Rotometer at this point. I think that's a really good spot. Positive, still maintaining just a little bit of skepticism with looking ahead.
Oh, there we go. I got it.
But definitely in a mode that is that's feeling pretty good. I mean, this is essentially where we were going into the Illinois game, right?
Let's see. Hold on. After Michigan State, it was 6.06.
There you go.
After Illinois, it was 3.3. So Peter, this is how it's gone the last few weeks. 3.3, 7.1 after Michigan, down to 3.88 after Notre Dame, and then 7.28 after Northwestern and 7.43 after Iowa. We didn't have one after the Nebraska game. All right, let's go to over under.
So you're going over.
I'm going bold. Give me that over.
I'm going under. I got to take an under here. I got 3 unders to take.
I'm going to do an under here.
All right. First one was over under 39.5 Iowa rushing attempts. It was under 33, mostly because Iowa just didn't have that many plays in the second half. Only ran 22 plays in the second half. They ran 53 plays overall. That sort of limited their opportunities to run the ball. So under on 33.5 rush attempts. Made field goals combined. We thought that this was going to be an ugly game with a lot of field goals. It wasn't. It was 2, both on the foot of Ryan Sayari.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about that, but I mean, a lot of that has to do with Iowa. A lot of that has to do with USC's defense being so damn weird in that in the first half, they were so bad that they gave up touchdowns. And in the second half, they were so good that they didn't even let Iowa get close to field goal range. Like you would expect Iowa to be much closer to the middle there in terms of like getting into field goal range and then having to kick, but USC was equal parts too good and too bad to get the over on this one.
Yeah. Next one was 1.5 Jaden Maiava interceptions. Iowa had been really good about forcing picks, and Maiava had thrown a pick in each of his last 5 games. It was 0. It was under, way under. Nice clean game from Jaden Maiava, which is what you want to see.
Yeah, he didn't even have. That I can remember. He didn't really have any of those ones that he had against Northwestern that like had heart in your throat for a second.
I don't think there were any of those.
He played a really, really clean game.
He made tough throws, but his tough throws were put in a spot where only his dude could get it.
Yes.
Which is what you want to see. Those are the tough throws that I want to see a quarterback make.
Yeah.
So I thought that he was really good on Saturday. Rushing yards per game was for the Trojans. Sorry, rushing yards per carry It was over under 4.335 USC rushing yards per carry. The Trojans have been really good at home, but Iowa hadn't allowed a lot. It was under 3.4.
Yeah, I think it was just missing the explosive runs that kept this low. But I was talking to somebody about the game, just about USC season as a whole, and they were asking about why is it that USC's offense seems to be either you're really have a really good game on the with the run and then sort of dip with the pass, and then big game with the pass and dip with the run, and that it didn't really make sense the why and when. And my argument was that the numbers for USC's run game against Iowa weren't particularly good, but they looked good running the ball. Like it wasn't.
Yeah,
it felt like
they were productive.
It felt like King was rumbling forward for 8 yards more often than he was getting stopped. And so it's just one of those things where it's like the USC passed the running eye test, even if the numbers in the end don't necessarily speak too highly of that. And maybe this is in part because USC is running out the clock in the end. Maybe this is in part because USC has, the goal line stuff that, only so many yards to be gained. I don't know.
SC did not have a single negative rush between King Miller and Brian Jackson.
That's really good.
We talked about it in the CarCast. Like, this wasn't King Miller's finest day or anything, but 19 carries, 83 yards, 4.4 yards per carry in a rain game. I take that any day of the week, especially if you're going to be able to finish off drives the way the Trojans did.
He looked damn good. I mean, the only downer for King is that fumble. Like, that fumble what could have been really, really bad. But luckily, Mackay was right there to pick it up. So
yeah, the bounces went SC's way. Yeah. Absolutely. You look at King Miller's rushes. There's a lot of threes and unders, but no negatives. Couple of zeros, but no negatives. He finished the game 2-2-2-3-2.
See, and I think that'll kill your average pretty
yes, but 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's the Big Ten, baby.
That'll take it.
Yeah. All right, next one.
Which, by the way, can we also? I'm sorry, it continues to drive me up a wall. The way that everyone's talking, like, oh, USC proved they can play Big Ten football. Like, no, y'all have been spinning this narrative that USC's problem was that they couldn't play Big Ten football, as opposed to USC was just bad at things. Like, USC losing games last year wasn't because of the Big Ten of it all. It was because USC was bad at winning football games last year. Like, this, I will go on this rant so many times. Oregon went into the Big Ten and immediately became one of the best teams in the Big Ten because Oregon has always been a physical team. People think that Oregon is the uniforms and the flash, but Oregon, even back in the Chip Kelly days, were a power run team. Oregon is a tough team and has been for a decade and a half. Stanford was a tough physical team. Yeah. Utah, tough physical team. ASU, in several of those years, tough physical team. Even Cal and Washington, Oregon State, these teams were not pushovers. They were not all flash and sparkles. They were tough teams that played tough football that no one gives them credit for because those teams tended to also have really good quarterbacks by comparison to the other country, and it skewed some of the numbers. But it's like USC beating Iowa is not like USC changing anything. It's simply USC doing playing good football. It's not about playing Big Ten football. It's just like when USC plays good football, they win these games. Not Big Ten football, Pac-12 football, anything like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And SC's defensive line has been a sieve, even when they were in the Pac-12.
Yes.
And so that hasn't changed.
And USC's defensive line it was a problem in the Pac-12 as well.
Yes.
Because they were a sieve and they weren't matching up to the physicality of plenty of the other teams that were on the schedule.
Yeah. And on the flip side, SC's offensive line has been absolutely fine this year. We were panicking in the preseason about how bad this offensive line could be, and it hasn't been the case.
Which shout out to I think the most impressive coaching job this season remains what Josh Hansen Zach Hansen has done with the offensive line, not just because of the performances that he's gotten out of them as a whole, but the way that USC has been so unlucky on the part of having a successful offensive line is getting lucky and having your 5 guys be able to play the whole season. And USC has been so unlucky. It feels like every single game somebody's going at it.
Yeah.
It's Elijah Page,
multiple center
or it's Killian
injuries.
O'Connor,
Yeah.
John Ray Reed, Alani Noah has gone out and in and out, like the whole thing. And yet every time USC loses a guy, they're the next
Nothing
man
changes.
up. Yeah. They've maintained it so well. Elijah Page goes out. They shuffle around. Kaylon Miller comes in and does a hell of a job in there at guard. It's just incredible what USC has been able to do with such an unstable lineup, especially because our big anxiety going into the season was less about what USC's frontline 5 could do and more that if there was even a single injury, USC did not have the depth to deal with that. And that has been completely proven incorrect because USC's depth on the offensive line has answered the bell every single time. It's such a good job from Hansen and everybody in that crew. Really, really outstanding.
If you didn't know there were injuries on the offensive line, you would have no way of knowing.
Yes.
No way of knowing, which I think is good. Also, I think you'd have no way of knowing of who the best and the worst offensive linemen are. Like they're all just blending into one. They're just one unit. They're not the greatest offensive line you've ever seen,
and it's not
but they are not a problem, and that's a huge coup in itself.
And it's not just that USC has lost guys to injury; it's that they've lost the 2 most important guys to injury.
Right.
They've lost Elijah Page a bunch of times. He's by far the best offensive lineman in that group, the highest ceiling, the biggest talent, playing the most important position. Yeah. And then the other 2 big injuries on the offensive line have been the frickin' center twice. It's wild.
And there's not a Monheim, there's not an Austin Jackson, there's not an AVT, there's not a Voorhees on this line.
Yeah.
Where you're like, this guy is going to play in the NFL for sure. Especially with Page.
The closest USC's got is Page, and he's been the one that's been injured most of the time. Yeah.
And then the other thing to go back on the tired narrative of like, well, I think he can't play in the Big Ten. Like they averaged 7 yards a carry against Penn State and Notre Dame last year.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
They like led the Big Ten in yards per carry in Big Ten play last year. Come on. Yeah. Anyways. Over under 1.5 USC trick plays. We said what qualifies a flea flicker, a reverse, double pass, fake field goal, fake punt, surprise onside kick, or wildcat weirdness on the discretion of the Rot hosts. And I believe we said on the podcast, a wildcat run straight up the middle would not count. There was one of those for a touchdown. I don't think that's a trick play.
I would argue that because USC motioned into the wildcat,
sure,
and sent Mayava out to the flat,
yeah,
and like did it that way, it felt tricky.
And okay, but it was 1.5.
Yeah,
there wasn't anything else. The only other thing was a fake reverse.
Yeah, that was,
and I don't want to call that a trick play either.
No,
so it's under.
Yeah,
it's under. 17.5 Iowa points. It was over 21. Unlucky one for the defense because they shut him out in the second half, but do better in the first half if you want to get the under on that one.
Unlucky for you.
Yes. All right. You went 4-2 this week. I went 2-4. Top prop bots for the week: 5-1. We had a bunch of 5-1s. GPAT, Moose Pants, Cali Cat, John Clown, Dan. Big ups for going 5-1. Top prop bots of the season. Number 1 continues to be the. Can you think of a leader with that starts with O? So like our friend Puya Savakili is the Duke of Deception. Mm-hmm. I need an O of the...
An overlord of...
The overlord of the over-under. Vince in San Diego continues. He's 31-17, firmly in first place. 2 games up on a tie between HH and HB and John Clown. 4th place is Nathan Whittier. 5th place, tie between Jay Vandy, Stephen Chad, and Pickle. Our buddy Steve in the Bay Area is tied with Trevor M for 8th. In 10th place, you got Big Poppy 55, LA Fred, Moose Pants, and OB Trojans. So there you go. All right, let's get to the mailbag, shall we?
You've got mail.
All right. Let's start with the review. We got a new review. I didn't screenshot it, so I'll have to pull it up here really quickly. Listen, this might be my favorite review of all time, quite honestly. From 4 Emmett, 5 stars.
Is this going to be someone you paid to give a review where they rave about you?
No, it's not. They don't even mention me by name.
Oh.
No. 4 Emmett, 5 stars. Good commentary. These two are likable with high IQs. Lots of passion. Alicia, we got high IQs.
I take it, dude.
Isn't that wonderful? I do have a high IQ. Thank you for noticing.
Thank you, Emmett, for the review. Yeah. Short and sweet. Love it. Absolutely love it. Very appreciate it.
Gonna add high IQ to all my bios.
Just don't let it go to your head, Michael.
I'll put it on my on my LinkedIn, my resume, my CV, my epitaph. High IQ.
And it goes
many people are saying
goes to show you how often he gets told that he has a high IQ.
Which is all the time, because I do have a high IQ.
Yes, he gets told all the time. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, 100%. All right, we got a call from Dave in Orange County.
Rant Line Radio. What's up? This is Dave from Orange County. Wow, what a good win. You know, I can't say that I had any sort of confidence going into this game when you saw rain on the forecast. You know, Iowa's strong team, strong defense, and I thought the running game would be more of a thing that they were going to just jam down our throats, especially in the rain. And shoot, didn't they jump out to a 14-0 lead and 21-7? I have zero confidence at that point. But are we turning into a second half team? I mean, it is 3 games in a row that the second half, the defense just shows up, makes those adjustments, does whatever they're doing, it just shuts teams down. That is something you can hang your hat on. That is something I could get behind. So many guys dropping out and getting injured yesterday that they just seemingly gave us every chance to stop fighting on, but we just did not stop. We just kept going, and it was so great to see. Roto meter, probably a good 7.5, 7.5. And then you look at the next game of the schedule. It's Eugene, going up to Eugene to face Oregon at home. Oregon doesn't look like the world beaters that they have been in the past, but it's still a road game. Still a road game in Eugene for us. It's just a tough place. It's hard to be confident going into next week, but you know, give us a puncher's chance. You give us something to say, hey, this team is resilient above all. This team does the fight on. So I'll take those chances. I'll be optimistic to a point coming into next week, and then just hope to get another W and keep rolling, beat on the Bruins. So let's do this damn thing. Fight out.
Thanks for the call, Dave, as always. I think you summed everything up there. SC is a second half team. Autzen is a really difficult place to play, but puncher's chance, all of that stuff.
Yeah, and I think he brings up a good point about how Oregon is not Oregon's a very good team, don't get me wrong, but Oregon is also a little bit like Notre Dame in that they're a very good team, but that doesn't mean that they are impervious. That doesn't mean that this isn't a team that can get got.
I think there's only 2 teams in the country that look ungettable. It's Ohio State and Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah, and even Indiana, I think, I not Indiana, even Ohio State, I don't know that we've seen enough from them for me to say for certain. I've seen enough from Indiana for sure, but you know this Oregon team, they have their extreme strengths, but they also have there are cracks in the armor that USC could theoretically take advantage of. I am honestly really bummed this isn't at home. Because I think that if we saw USC and Oregon play in Los Angeles, we'd see more of like mano-a-mano, like actual USC versus actual Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Where my worry is that because we know that USC on the road just feels like a different animal, that we won't actually get, it'll be a shame if we don't get to see USC, to see where USC really lines up against this Oregon team, because I'm just going to build in, build in a gap based solely on USC could be going up to play Washington State this weekend, and I would still build in a gap for them doing that travel and being what we know that they are on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a shame because USC versus Oregon and like a neutral site, this matchup would be really fun, actually.
The line is 10. What's that line look like if it's at the Coliseum? 3?
It's probably I would say probably 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple of voicemails from Bob and a couple of emails. One of the voicemails and the email came pre-Iowa, so we're going to go with the most recent stuff. But thank you so much for the calls and the emails. So we'll go with the email that came in post-Iowa from Bob that says, the win against Iowa proved once and for all that the talent USC has at the skill positions on offense are probably second to none. Farron said Lemon was as good as he's seen in the last 20 years. Lane is amazing, and Mayava is world-class. Miller is very, very good. Iowa has no players even close to this level, nor does Illinois or Nebraska. A team with this much talent should be playing for the title, not struggling to make the top 12. Are there more than 2 quarterbacks you take ahead of Mayava? Are there any receivers you take over Lemon and Lane? Great second half by the Trojans. Happy for all involved. All involved, Bob.
Yeah, the Mayava question is so interesting because I saw a tweet today from an Oregon fan who was doing the, who has the advantage in each position. Mm-hmm. And I would say they were totally fair to give Oregon the advantage in most positions except for wide receiver.
Yeah.
The only one I would have argued with them over is the quarterback, because I don't think I would take Dante Moore over Jaden Mayava at this point.
Go ahead.
No, I just think Jaden Mayava, the progression that he's made this season,
mm-hmm.
Outside of a truly inexplicably bad Nebraska performance, he's just been so good and so reliable and so everything that was good about last year without most of the bad stuff from last year, mm-hmm. That it's been sort of a revelation to me. I find it difficult to look at quarterbacks around the country and say that they are significantly better than him. I do the thing where we were talking about like the Miller Moss of it all. Like, to put Miller Moss on this team, I don't think USC is as good as they are. You put Mayava on Louisville and they're just as good, if not better. I could go around the country and even I think about if you swapped Fernando Mendoza and Jaden Mayava, would Indiana be any worse? Would Indiana be worse off with Jaden Mayava? I don't think they would be. And I freaking love Fernando Mendoza, by the way. But
they have a really damn good team.
Yes.
So I think that helps.
Yes.
I will say, if you're Oregon, I don't think you swap for Mayava.
No, that's
if
totally
you're SC,
fair.
I don't think you swap for Dante Moore.
Yes.
I think that I don't know that it's a push, but it is so even. You can make an argument either way, and that's the case. I think it's a good situation for both teams, right? Mm-hmm. These are two of the undoubtedly the top 10 quarterbacks in the country. They can be top 5, they can be top 3, however you want to argue it, right? It's all there for you to have your say on it. And I think that's the case is fantastic for not only SC's chances going forward, but for the game on Saturday being a damn good game. So, I don't know that how many quarterbacks I'd take over Mayava this season. Yes, I would take Fernando Mendoza over him. I would probably take the kid at Georgia Tech. But there's not that many dudes to Bob's point. And in terms of receivers, I'm not going to sit here and say that I wouldn't take Jeremiah Smith. But also, to the same thing that we talked about at quarterback just a second ago with Dante Moore, if you're SC, I don't think you take Smith over Lemon. And I think if you're Ohio State, you don't take Lemon over Smith. You just stick with your dude, right?
Yeah. What I think is wild is USC had the decision to make, ostensibly, in the offseason about which of the receivers they were going to invest in and which they were going to let walk. And USC chose Lemon and Lane, and they let Deuce Robinson and Zachariah Branch let them walk.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Deuce went to Florida State and is having a hell of a year.
They're both having good seasons.
49 catches, 947 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's fifth in the country in receiving. Branch is not having as prolific of a season, but he's certainly coming up big for Georgia and having his moments. He's got 59 catches, 583 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But Lemon, at the very least, he's second nationally in receiving.
Mm-hmm.
He's a semifinalist for the Blitnikoff. Jeremiah Smith probably has, I think if you wanted to take Jeremiah Smith because of the just like prototypical NFL combine stuff, that would be perfectly fine. But like Mekhi Lemon reminds me so much of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't.
There's a thing though. We've talked about this a lot, that there's prototypes at SC, right? Like you can track this all the way back. There's Kareem Kelly turned into or Kareem Kelly and Kerry Colbert were very similar, which turned into Steve Smith, which turned into Robert Woods, which turned into Amon-Ra. Like all those guys are sort of linked together, the same type of like skilled technician guy who is so good at route running, so good at being elusive, good with the ball in their hands, but also really good at getting open, all of that stuff. And then you have the prototypical like big ass dude. Your Keyshawn, your Big Mike Williams, your Dwayne Jarrett, your Michael Pittman, your Drake Londons, right? Like all those guys are a very similar prototype. Mekhi Lemon, I think, is in the Steve Smith, Robert Woods archetype, but he has a little bit of Drake London in him. Mm-hmm. And like that almost makes him like a unicorn in a little bit, because like Jacoby Lane is clearly in the big guy, the big physical receiver archetype, or at least he plays. I think Jacoby Lane reminds me a lot of Dwayne Jarrett and Tyler Vaughns in that size-wise, they are not as big as those other dudes, but they play as if they are. You know what I mean? And Mekhi Lemon plays as if he is a Drake London, but he's Steve Smith. And that, I think, just like makes him very freaking unique. Like I have a hard time comparing him to anybody because of that. Like maybe somebody like a Juju, who's just like an all around.
He's
just
got
like
a little Juju, yeah.
Because like Juju's just like Juju, Damian Williams, Marquise Lee. Like those guys are just like the all around dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an interesting. He's such an interesting player, and he's so damn good. Let's go to an email from Alien55. Not going to things in the rain. As part of our culture as Southern Californians, when it is raining, people miss meetings, work, class, everything. We fear the storm watch. It's who we are.
It is. Yeah.
Sad but true.
This is true.
My dad always makes fun of the how when it's like Stormwatch 2025 and the cameraman puts the camera right in the gutter so you can see all the water coming down the gutter.
Yep.
Yeah. That's extremely LA. And then there were a bunch of TikToks about like dogs and
All the dogs in
JSSIE is prototypical this type of LA dog that sees the rain and doesn't know how to function.
We literally got texts from our dog sitter,
Kenny, big ups to Kenny.
Big ups to Kenny, saying like Jessie won't pee. She won't go outside. She won't go onto the grass. And we're like, yeah, that's very Jessie. That sounds about right. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's her. All right. Email from Nick. Hope everything is going great, guys. Well, what can I say? It was a tale of two halves, and I don't know what kind of pep talk they give at halftime, but it worked, and something good seems to be brewing. These guys are definitely going to need to come out for all 4 quarters of the ball game and play the best game they've had in their lives come Saturday. I know a lot of doubt will be put on this team come the next few days from the media, but I really hope we have a chance to. I really think we have a chance to shock the world in Eugene. Fight on, Nick. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see where a lot of the media picks lie on this. Like, I think Oregon's going to get the vast majority of the picks. Obviously, they're 10-point favorites. But, like, are people going to pick SC to cover? Is SC getting the sexy team narrative yet, if at all? I don't know. I don't watch enough national stuff to really truly say yet. Ty on the Solid Verbal loves SC this year. Loves them.
Yeah.
Big SC guy.
My problem continues to be that even if you love USC, even if you're big on USC, and I think it has been reasonable to be so because USC, in terms of the advanced stats, has been so far ahead of what the perception of USC has been all year. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's totally in line. But the problem with this particular question is it is very hard to look at USC and ignore the road situation. That's my only thing. Again, I think it would have been very interesting if this wasn't in Eugene and we had to see people make their picks then. But because it's in Eugene, I just think anyone who actually does their research will have too many reasons to pick Oregon, even if it's just USC on the road. USC has not given anyone a reason to pick them on the road.
Yes.
And if they come out and play well on the road at Autzen, that will be awesome, and it will be super exciting, and it will be a huge step in the right direction. But it will also be against trend and against type.
I'm going to ask a question, and I think that this is very likely coming from a naive perspective. And so, like, I don't know that I believe this, but this is just, like, I think that you could have a naive view of this, and curious your thoughts. You look at SC's road struggles under Lincoln Riley, right? The vast majority of those games are games that we've talked about where SC should have won. SC had the game won and they threw it away. Or SC should have overcome something and they didn't. Or SC was in the moment at the last second and just didn't make the play. Of all of those games, how many times have those games come against the team who is favored to beat SC and or is a game that is on truly equal footing? Because the vast majority of those performances that everyone loathes have been against teams that are beneath SC, where SC has played with their food or screwed things up or whatever. Because I was trying to think about it. The teams that the big road games under Lincoln Riley, like these are the big ones that you circle on the calendar. Just off the top of my head, tell me if I'm missing anything. 2022 at Utah, they lose by a point on a 2-point conversion. They basically force Utah into going for 2, and Utah does go for 2, and they get it, right? They stop the 2-point conversion, they win the game. they win at UCLA the Corey Foreman game. 2023, the big road game was Oregon at the end of the season, but this is after the season has already fallen apart for the Trojans. SC plays a terrible first quarter, but like plays okay through
but
the
that's
rest of the
after,
game. But like,
that's after going to Notre Dame and getting pantsed.
yes, and I guess you could put the Notre Dame game in there too, for sure, 100%. Missed that one. Yes, the Notre Dame game, pants, the 3 interceptions by Caleb Williams,
and almost losing to Cal.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the big games.
Okay,
the big game last year on the road was Michigan. They were up for the Michigan game, especially in the second half. The big game on the road this year, Illinois. You have the terrible defensive performance, but like they fight back, come back from 14 down. And then Notre Dame. Like, I guess what I'm saying is like SC has not no-showed any of the big games.
No, USC has a very frustrating habit of losing those big road games by 3.
Yes.
Like USC most often is in those big road games and then loses them in frustrating fashion.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying here is like I think SC has road issues 1,000%, and I don't think that. I think you would be naive to say that the road issues would not apply on Saturday because we should just assume that they will until proven otherwise. I guess what I'm saying is, in big games, SC doesn't act like they don't belong.
No.
And like that, I think should be at least encouraging to the puncher's chance thing.
Can I again, not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but my suspicion is that the Oregon game will go very similarly to the Notre Dame game.
That's what my thought is. Yeah.
In that USC it'll be close, it'll be a tight battle.
There will be,
and then there will be a turnover or a special teams gaffe that then gives Oregon. Gives them a 2-score lead, and that then USC will not be able to get back once they fall behind.
I'll do you one better. I think it is a game that SC will be down 7 in the first half, and I'm sorry to screw a preview up, but like down 7 in the first half or something. There will be a chance for them to get back in it, like there was against Notre Dame. There will be a pivotal moment in the third quarter. Who makes that play? If it's SC, then they have a chance to win the game. If it's Oregon, then SC capitulates and they don't cover. Like the Notre Dame game this year. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way, I don't think SC's going to. SC will be there because they are always there for the big games. Do they win the big games? No. But they are there. They are in the building. They are in the building for those games. All right, we got a really long email from Eric. You want to take this one?
Yes. Hey guys, I was listening to the CarCast Iowa postgame and wanted to share a comment specifically about how this Trojan team makes me a type of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde character, screaming frustrations in the first half and singing praises in the second. I wanted to share my version of this. I'm part of a group text, like most people are. In one of my group chats, I have a varying fan base of friends. There's an Auburn fan, a Notre Dame fan, and a couple others. I'm the lone West Coast guy, so I enjoy hearing takes from dudes who grew up SEC fans or old school Big Ten fans. And the one ACC fan in the group can't stop with all his Clemson Miami hype, but that's for another day. Anyway, here's my comment I wanted to share. I'm hopefully overreacting, but fuck, it's the first quarter and we're about to be down 14-0 to Iowa. Bad football makes me want to turn off the TV. Ugh. Auburn fan, Alabama down early, loving it. Notre Dame fan, at Eric, are you at the game? Every time you go to a game, your Trojans lose. I'm still jealous you were at Notre Dame this year. Hopefully it's not the last one. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. Auburn fan, USC with the comeback. Eric, so far, lol. Fast forward to the end of the game. Eric, this team is going to give me a heart attack, lol. Well, as far as group texts go, this is probably very tame, but I thought I'd share. Hopefully we can keep pace in the first half with Oregon and show up in the second half as we've shown these past couple of games. Oh, one last thing. I'd love hearing other text comments from your listeners. I'd love a segment like that, hearing your guys' reaction to what we're chatting with our friends, unfiltered or semi-filtered. That would be awesome. Thanks for what you guys do. Fight on, Eric from Virginia Beach.
You want to do our
Well, I prepared it, so
Yes.
I could thank you for the email, Eric. It is very relatable. It's right down to the are you there? It must be your fault that you're losing.
okay, we're gonna do this dramatic reading of a
dramatic reading
group
of
text.
a slightly redacted dramatic reading of our USC friends
Yes.
group text. Okay,
You want to do
I be A and B and you be C
no,
and D.
you be A and C, and I'll be C.
B and D. Yeah, I be A and C.
I'm B and D.
And you and B and D, which works well because
yes.
A and C are the more
Yeah, okay.
negative ones, and B and D are the more
okay.
positive ones.
Here we go.
Okay, what a start!
Heward punt that one.
Melting face emoji. Okay, defense came up big, huge there.
Still early.
The nice thing about being pessimistic is this shit isn't surprising in the slightest.
Score here, then we get the ball in the second half and score again.
I hate caring. Feels like the perfect time for a Mayava pick, too.
We're fine.
David Tennant in the rain. .gif.
We're fine.
I want to leave because the weather's so miserable, but I feel like I'd be a fake fan. Haha.
Good third quarter so far. What an effing drive.
Replying to the wanting to leave text message. I'm glad I didn't! ! Second half team.
LFG. I was never worried. Incomplete. Touchdown ends it. Let's effing go. Do it again, defense.
I'm scared. They're not showing it. Is he in?
Toe is on the line to me. LFG. Never a effing doubt. No, it's me again. Second and a half, Danton! ! Points. Yeah.
So, yeah. Only slightly redacted.
We were in the air, and so we had everything muted. So we did not go into the Discord. But I have heard.
There was a
heard.
redacted part of that conversation that said that everyone something about people being really negative and everybody in the Rot Discord also having a moment. So
I have heard that the first half Discord was an absolute meltdown, and the second half Discord
crickets
was bliss. And of course, you can join us over in the Discord by becoming a member on YouTube.
Yeah, I should go back and scroll back through. I didn't even think about it.
We got a voicemail from Sean.
Hey, Alicia and Michael. Sean here from beautiful Austin, Texas. I just wanted to say again, thank you so much for hosting the watch-alongs. They keep me off of Reddit so I don't end up being angry all night, even off a win. Again, it's just like hanging out with two dear friends who know what to say about football. I appreciate you always taking my questions and interacting with the fans. A really good move. Yeah, it was great to come away with a win. Jacoby Lane, I've been saying it since he came with the program, one of the best wide receivers in the nation, and proved it that night. Obviously, Lemon looked great. I'm really excited for Waymo to get back, but King Miller, he's just looking like he should be running back one on any team in the nation. He's fantastic. I'm really hoping our defense can figure it out for the couple games coming along, but this has felt like a successful season. I know that people wanted to win every game and go to the college football playoff, but I think if you look last year of us losing close games and us now winning close games and even blowing out a few teams, it just feels different. I'm excited for it. I like what I'm seeing. So fight on. I love you both. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Sean. We love you too, bud. We love having you around.
Always great to hear from Sean. One of the things I love about Sean also is, aside from him being just like awesome, he always comes in with really sensible, reasoned insight. It's really nice. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
he's the best.
Yeah, he really is the best. I think you're right. I think this has been a fairly successful season thus far, and I think what I'm waiting for is not necessarily a win against Oregon, but just like a proof of concept thing against Oregon. What I think it is? I think that there's a huge difference for me between USC losing to Oregon tough and USC repeating 2017 Notre Dame, which I think is on the table. And 2017 Notre Dame would tell me a lot. A lot of things I don't want to learn. But if we see something close, and I would even say, like, I don't even want to see 2023 Oregon, because I don't want the defense to be there. But
23 Oregon game, like
something close again. But
SC was only in that game on paper.
Yes, only on paper, which is why I say, like, okay, as frustrated as I am that USC lost the Notre Dame game in the first place, if USC replicates the Notre Dame game in that they're in that game late, they're right there, and then it's, Makai Lemon, who is having a Biletnikoff level season, fumbling or something like that. Like, what can you do? It just happens, I could live with that. I could certainly live, like, a 1-score loss to Oregon would tell me a lot about whether or not we are seeing a mirage or seeing something more. In fact, I would argue that I saw an advanced, I forget if it was SP Plus maybe. The projection was like Oregon 33, USC 24. And for me, if USC's offense scores 24 to 27, that'll be slightly disappointing, but still well within acceptable margin for the defense that they're going up against. But if USC's defense manages to hold Oregon under 30, even in a loss, that will indicate true progress in a way that I think the second half performances have indicated true progress, but I still need one more proof that the defense is actually that what we've seen from USC over the last 3 weeks is more about USC's defense than playing offenses that aren't that good.
Yeah, no, I agree. And FEI, by the way, 21.2% win probability for SC. Projected score is 36-24. So, like, that's where the metrics are. The metrics are not on SC side at all on Saturday, in part because Oregon's offense is good and USC's defense is 130th for half the game and top 10 for the other half.
But again, like, this is the thing, is that we have seen USC, the metrics favor USC, and USC go out and lose plenty of times. Like, the metrics don't have to mean everything if you go out and play up to a certain level. And USC, I think the thing that sets USC apart oftentimes in these kind of conversations is that USC usually does have at least one, if not two, superstar level players that are legitimately, like, game changers. And the difference in this game could legitimately just be Makai Lemon going sort of like Megatron mode, or Jacoby Lane going Megatron mode, any one of those things. And we still haven't had the Eric Gentry crazy Superman game. So, like, maybe that's
a good point.
2016 Washington was very much about Adoree Jackson making the plays that changed the game. I think Eric Gentry would certainly, if I had to pin one player on defense that if USC needs that level of contribution, it certainly could be Eric Gentry in that one. It's
the thing of him on the road forced fumbles. In the last 2 calendar years, he's done it in every single game except for one. That's the Notre Dame game. This past last month. I will say, 2011 Oregon loses to SC in November. 2012 Oregon loses to Stanford at home in November. 2013 Oregon loses twice, but they're both on the road. 2014
Oregon had a real bad stretch,
loses to Arizona at home,
losing random November games for a variety of reasons, but sometimes injuries, sometimes just like, okay, Oregon face planted there. So Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, but I would go back to what Signetti, was it Signetti that said this? It was something about like you've never, was it, who was it that said this? You've never beaten your school has never beaten anybody in the last 30 years in something situation. He's like, the hell does that mean? Like,
That sounds like Signetti.
like the 2015 game has no bearing on what will happen on Saturday. So, all right, last email from Sylvie's dad. Michael and Alicia, when you were out of the country, who was watching Jesse and Badger? You guys didn't mention anything about this. I hope they were looked well after. Bark on, Sylvie's dad, Mike in Bellevue, Washington. Nobody. They were just roaming. They were roaming for free, scavenging. Yeah, they were, hunter gatherers.
We cut open a big bag of food and left it out on the floor and let them portion it out themselves.
Can you imagine someone doing that?
I swear to God.
Like I feel like there's a movie where there's just like some bro that just like cuts open the bag, pulls out his Swiss Army knife, cuts it open. All right, pups, see you later, and then walks away for a week.
There's an episode of The Good Place that involves this very scenario. So,
no, our good friend Kenny from Traveler Hates Thursdays, who is Uncle Kenny as far as Jesse and Badger know.
Yep.
I
don't know if it'll come up on the screen, but I've got a paw scratch across the side of my cheek.
You've gotten 2 things in the last couple of weeks to the point I'm like, people are going to start thinking that I'm like, problematic over here.
It's not Michael being problematic. It's Badger being violent.
Well,
but what had happened was I was sitting in the front seat, Badger's in the back seat. We were dropping something off at Uncle Kenny's. And so I roll down the window to hand him the thing. Badger sees Uncle Kenny and tries to throw himself through the gap between the window and the door with his paw just like scratching out at my face. So yeah, he loves Uncle Kenny.
He loves him. And Badger was very happy to see us.
Yes.
Jesse was very happy to see us. You went to a concert last night.
Sabrina Carpenter, amazing.
And
so good.
You came home, and I think the dogs legitimately thought that you were gone on another trip.
They acted like I had been gone for a week again.
Like to be fair, we there's been 3 trips in the last 3 weeks. Because you went to Havasu Pie on a trip last month. We had your brother's wedding. Then we were out this past week. Like the poor pups are scarred.
Mm-hmm.
They're
I walked in the door and Badger his whole body wiggles and Jesse actually like getting excited and like trying to jump up and kiss me, which is a lot for Jesse, by the way. So yeah. And then of course Badger sees Jesse getting excited and then he gets excited and he's like, oh, Jesse's gonna play with me. And Jesse's like, no, I just want to say hi to Mom. And then Badger is like, oh, but let me play with you. And then, oh, but wait, Mom's there. Oh, but I can play with you. Oh, but wait, Mom's there. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, Badger's been not too talkative today, which is good.
We made it a solid hour and 15 minutes before the first time I heard him.
Yeah,
so
that's good. That's good. The white noise machine. I think that's the answer.
I'm going to argue it's something else too. I gave him a bully stick like an hour before we started recording.
Mm-hmm. You think it tires his little jaws
out? I think it tires him out. I think it gives him something to do, and then he's ready to nap, as opposed to like giving him the bully stick when we need him to settle in. So
I respect it. Yeah, it's almost like the lick mat thing. Yeah. All right, we'll be back Wednesday to preview SC and Oregon. It's a big one. I'm super excited. I think you're super excited. I think all the Rotbots are super excited. It's a big week. We're going to preview the game, make the case for SC, make the case for whatever the hell happens in that game.
And we'll be doing a live watch along on Saturday, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. It'll be a good time. So join us then. As always, you can follow us on social media at Reign of Troy. Email address, reignoftroy@fansided.com. I've been told that I run through that too quickly, so I'm slowing it down. reignoftroy@fansided.com.
Rain as in REIGN.
Well, I would hope.
I'm just saying,
I mean, this past week was
REIGNOFTROY.
Yeah, this past weekend was Rain, RAIN.
RAIN, yeah.
Yes,
Rain of Troy, yeah.
Yeah. Fight on Natty says you need a cat in your life. I couldn't deal with a cat.
I honestly,
I mean, a cat would be nice to be the you can let a cat be completely unattended in a lot of ways.
Yeah, a cat won't disturb the podcast with the howling like Badger's now doing.
Yes.
But before we got Jesse, I legitimately considered the cat thing out of desperation for any sort of pet.
What? I didn't know this.
Yeah. I asked
I would
you.
not have stood for that.
Well, that's what I think I asked you, like, would you ever be interested in a cat? And
I'm
you were
no
like,
cat
absolutely
guy.
not. I was like, well, okay, that answers that. Because I'm
no
not that.
cat guy.
I'm a dog person. Like, I have a lot of friends who have cats, so I've sort of gotten used to having cats around. But for me, I'm a dog person.
There's two cats in the world that I like. Our friends have Maggie and Lisa.
Maggie and Lisa. Mm-hmm.
Those cats are wonderful.
Well, Maggie is wonderful.
One of them's scared of us, and the other one likes pets. I never remember who's who.
No, Maggie is the one who comes out and gets pets. Lisa will not let us within a 15-yard radius of her.
Sure. But those cats, wonderful.
Okay, Fight on Natty's has two 26-pound Maine Coons. No, sir, or ma'am, or whoever, you have two dogs. Maine Coons are essentially dogs with a cat skin.
Well, I have to Google a Maine Coon.
Maine Coons are giant.
Oh, okay. Those are big uns.
Yes.
Okay. Here's my real though anti-cat take. I do not understand, and I'm sorry if you're a Rotbot who has one of these. I'm sorry. I can't do the hairless cats. I don't
agree.
get it. I genuinely do not understand it. Don't get it. My dog when I was a kid had a skin condition, and she had tumors all over her back, and she went like hairless and stuff, and like it was awful. It was sad. It was depressing, and it was traumatizing for 11-year-old me. I can't imagine willingly signing up for that sort of thing. Brutal.
Yeah, I can't do the hairless dogs or the hairless cats.
No.
Because, like, what's the point of having a dog or a cat if you can't, like, pet the fur?
Yeah, I need that soft fur. I don't even want the prickly haired dogs. I want the soft.
Ilya makes a good point. People who have them sometimes because of allergies. Yeah, I get that.
No,
If I was allergic to cats and I really wanted a cat, and that was the only way I could have a cat, yeah.
I'd get a stuffed animal. But I get it. That makes sense. Yeah. Maybe I get a fish. But anyways,
Michael did a week-long, he's going to get a fish hyperfixation that I'm really relieved he lasted a week. You were heavy researching. You were getting ready for it.
I was binging. I was down several YouTube rabbit holes. Watched every single video. I learned that you can't just buy fish and just have fish tomorrow. I had no idea. No clue. And then I'm like, this is too much work. I thought fish were easy.
No, all animals are. Keeping things alive is simply not easy. Even plants is not that easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back Wednesday. So until then, we'll see ya.
See ya.
See ya.